Welcome back to the Hero's Journey podcast. We are back with episode number 58 already. I'm your host, Nick. And again, we're looking at comics from the golden age these days. I'm reading my way through. When we left off, we were in April of 1945. So we're going to pick that up on April of 1945. See where I'm at, see where our heroes are at. Without further ado, here are the 10 books that I was reading for this episode. First up, Police Comics, number 41. Nice little Jack Cool cover. Plastic Man punching some guy out. It's a fun cover. Nothing really exciting, but it is what it is. So in the first story, Plastic Man goes undercover at a department store. Hold on, I'll show you this splash page. Plastic Man goes undercover at a department store to discover that one of the owners is cleaning out the stock in order to bankrupt the store and buy out his partner for a song. And then what's next? Next up is the Human Bomb. Kind of like that splash page. I don't know. I like his face right there. It's great. It's a good drawing of his head. Human Bomb. Human Bomb tracks down an invention that gets into the wrong hands, which is an umbrella that shoots a paralyzing ray. Scary stuff. Scary stuff. Following that title, we have Sensation Comics number 40. All right. Nice H.G. Peter cover. Wonder Woman. We got Etta Candy punching out a clown. Sure. It wasn't part of the story, but sure, why not? So let's look at that. In the first story, Wonder Woman recovers the plans for the U.S.'s secret surprise weapon from International Spies Incorporated, who are mercenaries that steal to sell back to their owners, right? So they steal like really important documents to sell them back to their owners. So International Spies Inc. That's their scam. Mr. Terrific takes on a giant that was created from chemicals mixing together in a stream coming from one of his own drug factories. Like, what? That's nuts. Now looking at this kind of title page here, the art doesn't seem the greatest. Look at Mr. Terrific's head in that bubble. What happened there? If you compare it to like the Human Bomb in the last issue, or even the Wonder Woman title, looks so much better. And the last story in the book I was reading is about Wildcat. Wildcat solves the mystery of the gang of thieves using a little person to gain access to buildings with no known access points. And somewhere in there, Stretch Skinner inherits a trained circus bear. Again, art, not really impressive. It's there. Why not? Star Spangled Comics number 43. I swear it looks like 42 on the cover. It is 43. That is the best image I could find for that cover. Sad to say. It says Robot Bomb on that flying device, plane, drone, whatever you want to call it. So there we go. All right, yeah, and the scan of the issue wasn't even that great. So bear with me. We'll get through this. So in Newsboy Legion story, Guardian chases down after a music shop thief that ends up in a quartet with Jim Harper. Craziness, right? Robot Man, the Hamlet of Harry the Ham. So Robbie the robot dog tracks down a kidnapped circus dog and gets captured himself. Robot Man follows the trail to the bad guy's hideout. So there you have it. Star Spangled Kid, Mr. Gadget learns a lesson. So Mr. Gadget is back. Star Spangled Kid and Stripesy tangled with Mr. Gadget again, and his school for curing shyness that gets people arrested to distract police officers. So they're like, yeah, here, we'll cure your shyness. Just go get arrested, right? And that'll cure shyness. Like you go commit a crime, and then you'll be outgoing and it'll be cool, right? So yeah, unfortunately, it was all just to distract the police officers so that Mr. Gadget's buddies there could just rob at will. Finally, Liberty Bell, accent on action. Liberty Bell recovers a map of secret oil deposits. A map of secret oil depots stolen by a Nazi spy who was impersonating a consulate official. Who goes around impersonating consulate officials? That's just nuts. Okie doke. Well, this comics number 64. Look at that. Yeah, attorney killed in home. Captain Marvel suspected of murder. Holy moly. And true to the cover. So it says Captain Marvel in the 7 League boots, but it actually does have to do with the cover because Captain Marvel is after a man wearing 7 league boots. These are boots that can leap 1 mile at a time. They look very similar to Captain Marvel's boots. It's this guy wearing 7 league boots, goes around committing crimes, and then he frames Captain Marvel for murder. What a bad, mad man. Oops, sorry. Ibis, the Invincible. Ibis? Oh, it's Ibis. Ibis the Invincible, the end of the wrong road. So Ibis the Invincible shows a gullible man how his life will end up if he turns to crime for easy money. It's easy enough, right? Just a lesson learned, no harm done. Love it. Wow Comics number 35. I promise you it's number 35. Again, I had a hard time tracking down a cover for this book. This is a problem I have with the Golden Age. Like really reading your way through the Golden Age is very difficult because finding the material isn't always easy. And I'm trying to get these things from multiple sources. The covers don't always look great. I mean, sometimes I can find like these little thumbnails that look okay, but unless I had one of these copies in hand, which is just not reasonable to be able to get a hold of these things for every run of every book that I'm reading, especially when we're seeing sales like last week's episode of $162,000. I mean, like, I find that was a high grade book, but still, the point is, there's no way I could afford to read my way through the Golden Age unless I was pulling from a lot of different resources. Okay, so moving right along. So you got Wow Comics here, right? So in the story here, Wow Comics as Mary Marvel, you'll see girl second from the right with the pigtails, green and red dress. That is Freckles Marvel, right? So here she is, Freckle Marvel, in her same outfit as Mary Marvel. I mean, although she's wearing loafers and socks as opposed to the boots. So Mary Marvel helps Uncle Marvel and Freckles Marvel track down some money left to an heir at the end of a trail of clues. So this is the first appearance. It's also the cover. And we could probably say origin of Mary Dudley, who is Freckles Marvel. Now, Freckles Marvel, whatever Mary Dudley, will come back for a few appearances, I believe, in the future, but I don't believe she's a major character by any stretch of the imagination. Sorry, that was Wow Comics. Now that was it for April 1945. Now we move on to May of 1945. So think about that. So far we're a third, third of the way through 1945. So we're moving right along. This is great. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. So we got Action Comics number 84. I mean, I don't believe this will also be one of the most revered Action Comics titles that there are. I've never seen this cover before. It's got some interesting colors. Like it does look decent color-wise, but I don't think it's got anything on there that is really going to attract some serious collectors and investors. Run filler, sure. Okay, so Superman gets some help from a schoolboy to catch some jewel thieves and gives the boy a great story to write about for his assignment. He had a class assignment to write about what he did on Saturday and help Superman catch some jewel thieves. So he made some real good friends at school because of it. Zatara, it's all about the Day of Wishes. So Zatara makes everyone's dreams come true to prove that granting idle wishes creates chaos. And sure enough, it did, because Zatara is never wrong. Captain Marvel is back in Captain Marvel Adventures number 46, smacking a guy off what looks like an oil derrick. It's got a wrench. So here we go. So there's 3 Captain Marvel stories. First one, Captain Marvel and the Tall Stories of Jonah Joggins. Captain Marvel helps an old man who tells tales of being a hero. Oh, sorry. Captain Marvel helps an old man who tells tall tales of being a hero from being driven off his oil-rich land by an unscrupulous oil baron. So this guy loves to tell tall tales and be a hero to the kids, local kids. Kids love him. Think his stories are great, even if they might not be true. Captain Marvel doesn't see any harm in it, so he ends up helping him out because this rich oil baron is trying to drive him from his land. In the next story, Captain Marvel has a dull day, so Captain Marvel gets bored of another day saving people in the same usual ways and only finds excitement at the end when he goes fishing for the first time. So he's never been fishing. So comic first time Captain Marvel goes fishing, why not? Okay, now this is exciting, right? This is the third story, Monster Society of Evil, starring Captain Marvel. Chapter 25, The End of Mr. Mind. Now, this is notable because it's chapter 25 of this serial. So this ends the serial finally. We've been reading this sucker for 25 issues since Captain Marvel Adventures 21. So Captain Marvel finally catches Mr. Mind after he has been defeated and his henchmen have left him. Mr. Mind is found guilty at trial and is put to death in the electric chair. So when this story is titled The End of Mr. Mind, they are not kidding. It is his end, electric chair, he dies, that's it. Gruesome, but is what it is, little worm. The little worm is no more. Captain Marvel Jr. number 30. So this story also has 3 stories in it. Captain Marvel Jr. Now, strange thing on the cover. Look at Captain Marvel Jr. right in the middle there. His eyes just look weird. Look like he's been punched out. And I thought maybe the scan of this cover may have had someone coloring it in or something and giving him some eyeshadow. But I looked at a few different scans of this thing, and that is the way it's drawn. It looks like he got punched out or is really tired, or I don't know. Whatever. Captain Marvel Jr. meets the amazing Mr. Meteor. So Captain Marvel Jr. puts a stop to the inventor who created a jetpack and used it for crime. Easy enough. Mr. Meteor zipping around in a jetpack. Turns to crime. Such a shame. And then Captain Marvel Jr. is on trial for his own murder. Wow, how does that even happen? So Captain Marvel Jr. is put on trial for his own murder, and he goes along with it to flush out a gang of saboteurs, right? So that's the thing. So it looked like Captain Marvel Jr. was killed. There were witnesses to see that he died. But then he was put to trial to say, hey, you can't be the real Captain Marvel Jr. You must have killed him. Guess what? He was found innocent of his own death, of his own murder. Captain Marvel Jr. and the Secret of Skull Island is the third story. Captain Marvel Jr. investigates why U.S. Navy ships are found floating and abandoned. Turns out General Nippo has crossbred flying fish and sharks and then trained them to attack U.S. ships. So flying sharks. It's kind of like maybe the precursor to Sharknado. People wrote Sharknado were probably like, well, no, flying sharks are stupid. Let's put them in a tornado. That's much better. Anyway, Comic Cavalcade, summer issue number 11. So this issue is 76 pages, down from 84, still 15 cents. So it's, still 76 pages down from 84. So it's, it's only down 8 pages. I mean, the other issues, when they go down 8 pages, seems like more of a thing. This one, the Doesn't seem as big a thing. It's still a big brick. I like the animals on this cover, kind of goofy. If you look at the pig, man, that pig looks high as a kite. That is awesome. I don't know what it is with the eyes in the issues for this episode, but the eyes have it. The eyes are weird. Another fun Comic Cavalcade cover. That's really what these are. They're just fun. I don't think you can read too much into them. So Wonder Woman is at the mercy of the escaped cheetah when she puts a Venus girdle on her, right? So the Venus girdles, when you put them on the Amazons, such as Wonder Woman, they'll obey. They're forced to obey commands. Now, these Venus girdles are generally for training. I mean, they're to promote submission, and then once you get to a point where they think, all right, well, you're submissive enough, and you do bow down to authority, they'll give you the key to the girdle so that you don't necessarily have to wear it. Some people might wear it out of comfort and feel like they need to wear it, want to feel the submissiveness from the girdle. Anyway, so they gave the cheetah the key to the girdle, and of course she took off, started causing trouble, slapped one on Wonder Woman. Anyway, so Queen Hippolyta afterwards decided to make the Venus girdle wearers only obey loving authority, right? So anyone who had malicious intent shouldn't have any power over someone wearing a Venus girdle. So in this issue, the Venus girdles change. The authority to command the wearers of the Venus girdles changes in this issue. Saw it here first. Green Lantern, two characters in search of a brain. So Green Lantern and Doiby Dickles are after a mob that is trying to find a literal dummy to pose as the head of their gang. So these two ding-dongs that said, "Oh, the brain. He said we should do this and that." So the mob goes and commits these crimes. They have to give a share to the ringleader, who's named the Brain. But turns there is no brain. These two idiots cooked up this story so they could get a larger share by pretending to portion it off to the missing gang leaders. Anyway, so they're like, "Oh, we gotta find a gang leader. How do we find a gang leader?" Anyway, so they tried to find someone, wasn't really work out. So they're trying to find like a corpse to use as a dummy so that they could show off, like a Weekend at Bernie's kind of thing. Like, I'm the ringleader. I'm the Brain. So the Flash shenanigans in Sherwood Forest. Now, this book is from the 1940s, and they're using the word shenanigans, but I feel like the word shenanigans is having a resurgence. I was just having a conversation with someone about that recently. It shows up a lot, people doing stuff online, certainly on eBay or whatever, and you have some bidding that doesn't seem to be quite right. People call shenanigans on it, right? So I think that word's coming back. Anyway, so Flash runs back in time because he wants a vacation from his everyday crime fighting life. And he runs back in time to the time of Robin Hood, and he joins his band of merry men. And then he ends up saving Maid Marian from the bailiff and his men. So bailiff is, I guess, what we might consider Sheriff of Nottingham in the stories that I know about. But in this story, he's a bailiff who has this kind of castle and some men that work under him. So it's not even a sheriff at this point. In the last issue of the bunch, Detective Comics number 99 with the Penguin on the cover. So sure enough, Penguin's going to make an appearance, right? Right? Here it is. There's a splash page. Nice. Actually, really nice splash page. Fun splash page. Penguin's in it for sure. So Batman and Robin get locked up in a freezer by the Penguin after he kidnaps people for ransom. Right? So Penguin kidnaps people for ransom, creates these wax figures of them, and then sends them to the families or the loved ones. and says, I can revive your loved ones if you pay me $50,000. But really, they're just wax figures. And it was just a matter of, saying, don't touch the corpse because, if you don't do it properly with my specially worked out formula, then, people will die. So anyway, he did kidnap the people, and they were locked up, and I presume he would have let them go if people had paid up. But anyways, Batman and Robin stumbled onto the scheme, got locked up in a freezer, got out of the freezer, put a stop to the Penguin because that's what they do. Okay, so let's look back at the 10 issues that we were just looking at. So we've got another episode with 0 timely books. 0. There's let's see what we got. 1, 2, 3, 4 Fawcett books. We've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 DC books and 1 quality comic in there. Right. So look, it's usually easy to pick out which book is going to be the big book of the week, or have a better idea when we're talking about when there's a timely book in there. When there's a couple timely books in there, it's more of a toss-up to try to figure out which one. It's a classic cover, whatever. But in this particular case, like, who's going to take it? Is it going to be the Wow Comics with first appearance of Freckles Marvel, Comic Cavalcade, where the Venus Girls are now only the wearers will only obey loving authority, right? So there's a bit of a change there. Will it be? Who knows? Will it be the Captain Marvel looking really tired on Captain Marvel Jr. number 30? You got Penguin on the cover of Detective Comics, Wonder Woman on cover of Sensation, Action Comics. I mean, it's cool. Like I said, the colors are nice. Colors are interesting. I'll say interesting. But which one's going to be the big book this week? Let's find out. Ready? Oh, look at that. Detective Comics, number 99, Penguin on the cover. Got a 4.0 that sold for in February of 2021 for $575. What I found interesting in this set of 10 comics, like last episode, but a comic that was worth, the last sale was $10. And we had a comic where the last sale was $162,000. So we had like a huge spread. And then today, we don't even have anything over $1,000. In fact, the highest, most recent sale is at $575. It was 4. I understand it's 4.0, but that is the highest recent sale for these books. A lot of these books did not have sales in 2021. They just had the one sale. Like, there weren't very many. I mean, the only one that was coming close was maybe to Detective Comics, seemed to be the Sensation Comics 40, right? 6.5 from January, $460, but yeah, 4.0 for 575. So it was really, it's doing well. It was Comic Cavalcade, I thought might have been more of a runner-up. It's just, I guess if you're paying by the page, Comic Cavalcade the deal for sure. Police Comics 41, $85 for 5.0. I think that's great for a Golden Age comic. What else do we have? Wiz Comics 3.0, May 2021, $400. Seems low. Pardon me. Jeez, I'm sorry if I'm keeping you up. You have a Captain Marvel Adventures, number 46. This is 4.0 from April of 2021. Like, it's got the $125 with the strike through. So there was a best offer accepted for it. I like to think, it's a good 20% less maybe. So take off, maybe it was like $100. What was the selling price for that, give or take? Yeah, anyway, so really, No huge dollar books this week. I mean, look, we're still talking books that are worth hundreds of dollars. It's not like they're peanuts. But yeah, like I said, you don't have a timely books. You don't have a book that cracked even $1,000. But yeah, anyway, interesting books, fun reads, a lot of fun reads in there. That's for sure. I wouldn't say that there are any real keys in there, but you do have like the Wonder Woman, the Comic Cavalcade, that Wonder Woman story, the cheetahs in it. So that's interesting. And then you also have the thing with the girl. So you do have sort of an evolution of a character, which is really what I want to see. I want to be able to read the story and say, oh, now this character is this way, or this happens in this character's world or universe. That's kind of it. I don't want to just see, hero, bad guy, hero stops a bad guy, hero, bad guy, hero stops bad guy. It just it gets a little repetitive after a while. So I'm hoping that the stories will evolve, which I know they will, but I'm hoping to get to the point where the stories evolve and we get to see more of the more depth of the characters, really depth of the characters, depth to their rogues gallery, depth to the supporting cast. Really build out the universe, have some good crossover stories. And yeah, even the rogues, the villains, I'd like to see them develop and do more with themselves than, oh, Penguin's back, Penguin's in jail, Penguin broke out of jail, Penguin's back. And I you need more than that, obviously. And I'm looking forward to I'm sure I mentioned this, but I'm really looking forward to the point where the characters have story arcs that span more than one issue, right? And right now we're still looking at stories that are 8 to 12 pages or maybe a couple pages more, but we're really not, one story does a full issue yet, right? We're not near that point. And I'm curious to see when that would change. Yeah, Anthony, if you're watching, don't spoil it for me. Don't tell me when that changes. I'm curious to see when it changes that a character is going to have one story in a full issue. Now, so the only I guess arc that was spanning multiple issues was the serial that was in Captain Marvel Adventures, right? So that was 25 part serial. If you want to read from Captain Marvel Adventures 21 or I guess it starts at 22 all the way to 46. 25 parts. It's exciting. So finally finished that. So there are no other serials going on in the issues that I'm reading. I'll see when the next one is. All right. Thank you for letting me rant. Thank you for listening to my silliness. Look, it's a fun project. I'm really enjoying it. So I hope you're along for the ride and enjoying it too. Thanks very much. Take care. Stay safe.